Crikey, what a story we have here. It all starts with a little beauty, a young orca named Keiko. He was just a bub, only about 2 years old, when he was captured near Iceland in 1979. Imagine that. 1 minute you're swimming free with your family, your pod, in the vast, cold ocean. The next, you're tangled in a net, and your whole world changes forever. From there, his life became a series of tanks, each one a little different. Concrete tank, shallow performance pool, cramped exhibit, but none of them the ocean he was born into. It's a heartbreaking start for such a magnificent creature. He eventually ended up in a theme park in Mexico City, Reino Aventura. The water in his tank was warm, treated with chemicals, not the natural salt water his body was made for. It was also way too small for an animal built to swim hundreds of miles. But this is where the world would come to know him. Hollywood came knocking, looking for a star. They found Keiko. You just can't fool people, especially kids. They've got the biggest hearts, these little troopers. At the end of the film, a phone number was shown for people who wanted to help save the whales. Well, the phone started ringing off the hook. From little kids with their pocket money to grown-ups who were moved by the story, all wanted to know one thing. What about Willie? They had just watched him leap to freedom, and they couldn't stand the thought that he was still in a tank. This wasn't just a few phone calls, mate. This was a proper global movement kicking off. It was a beautiful thing to see. It was like the movie had flipped a switch in people's hearts. They saw the intelligence, the beauty, and the spirit of this incredible animal on the big screen. The line between the movie character and the real-life Keiko blurred, and a powerful question emerged. If we could free Willie in a movie, why couldn't we free Keiko in real life? The pressure began to build, and it built up fast. Newspapers, TV shows, magazines showed pictures of his small tank and talked about his poor health. The public outcry was massive. To their credit, they stepped up. Warner Brothers Studio, along with a billionaire named Craig McCaw, joined forces with animal welfare groups. They formed the Free Willie Keiko Foundation. Now let's have a serious look at the challenges Keiko was facing. Life in that Mexican park was taking a massive toll on him. The water was far too warm for a North Atlantic orca. His body was built for icy oceans. That warm, chlorinated pool was like living in a hot bath you can never get out of. It caused serious skin problems. Wart-like lesions on his skin. A papillomavirus covered parts of his body, especially his fins. He looked uncomfortable. His skin was unhealthy. On top of the skin issues, his dorsal fin was a major worry. Wild orcas have a massive straight fin that cuts the water. It's a sign of strength and health. Keiko's dorsal fin was flopped over, common in captive males. While possible in the wild, it's far more common in tanks. Likely cause, lack of deep, high-speed swimming, and spending too much time at the surface. The flopped fin became a visible symbol of his confinement. His body was telling a story of captivity. Then there was his weight. And his teeth. He was seriously underweight for an orca his size. He simply wasn't thriving. His captive diet wasn't meeting his needs. His teeth were in terrible shape. Teeth worn down from grinding. Some teeth were broken. Captive orcas often chew concrete tank sides, or rub and bite metal gates. It's a sign of stress, a cry for help. The psychological side was just as bad. Keiko was born for a tight-knit family pod. In his tank, he was alone. No other orcas to communicate with, no one to play with, no podmates to learn from. That isolation is a heavy burden for such an intelligent creature. He was lethargic, floating listlessly in a small pool. The star of Free Willie, a symbol of freedom, was suffering loneliness and neglect. The world saw a movie star. Behind the scenes was a sick, lonely animal desperate for change. It was time to get him out of there. So, with the world watching and the funds being raised, the rescue mission began. This was a massive undertaking, mate, a real logistical puzzle. The first step was to get Keiko out of that park in Mexico and into a proper facility where he could heal. In 1996, the team made it happen. Keiko was carefully loaded onto a huge transport plane, a UPS C-130 Hercules, for his big trip. Can you picture it? a multi-ton whale flying through the air. It was an incredible sight. A massive effort involving vets, trainers, and transport experts, all working together for this one animal. He was flown to a brand new state-of-the-art rehabilitation facility, built just for him at the Oregon Coast Aquarium. This was a massive upgrade. He was moved into a huge tank, 2 million gallons of filtered chilled seawater from nearby Yaquina Bay. For the first time in years, Keiko was in natural cold salt water. You could almost see the relief on him. The cool water was exactly what his body needed to start healing. A team of the world's best veterinarians and marine mammal specialists was there waiting for him, ready to start the long process of getting him healthy again. The rehabilitation was a slow and steady process. The lesions began to disappear. He started a new top-quality diet and began to put on weight, over 1,000 pounds. He was getting stronger every day. The next massive step in Keiko's journey was to bring him home. In 1998, he was ready for the next phase. He was flown again, this time all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to Iceland, the country where he was born. A massive US Air Force C-17 transport jet carried him on this epic flight. He was placed in a huge sea pen in a secluded bay in the Westman Islands. This wasn't a tank anymore. This was a massive, netted-off section of the actual ocean. He could feel the natural currents, taste the real salt, and hear the sounds of the sea. He was home, or at least one step closer than ever before. In his sea pen, the training continued, and it was intense. The team worked to build up his strength and stamina for the open ocean. They took him on walks in the ocean, where a boat would lead him out of his pen and into the surrounding waters, with a tracking device to monitor him. These were his first swims in the wild ocean since he was a tiny calf. He started interacting with wild marine life. He even started encountering wild orcas, which was a huge moment. After years of preparation, the moment of truth arrived. In July 2002, the gate to his sea pen was opened. Keiko was officially released into the North Atlantic. He was a free whale. He was fitted with a satellite tag so the research team could track his movements. For a while, he stayed relatively close to his human caregivers, often returning to the bay. But then he did something incredible. He started a massive journey, swimming nearly 1,000 miles all the way from Iceland to the coast of Norway. When he arrived, he sought human contact and a bit of a circus formed. He never fully integrated with a wild orcapod, a whale caught between two worlds. Keiko's story came to a peaceful end in December 2003. He passed away in a Norwegian fjord, likely from pneumonia. He was 27 years old. Some people looked at the end and called the project a failure. But crikey, they are missing the point completely. This story wasn't about success or failure in human terms. It was about one thing: trying. It was about giving one animal who had suffered so much for our entertainment a chance at freedom. He got to swim in the real ocean, his home. He got to feel the currents. He got to see the wild world. That is not a failure. That is a victory of compassion. Keiko's journey taught us so much. It changed the whole conversation about keeping magnificent, intelligent animals like orcas in captivity. Before Keiko, most people just went to marine parks and never thought twice. But his story opened our eyes. Is a small tank any place for an animal that belongs in the vast ocean? Is our entertainment more important than their well-being? Keiko's life put a massive crack in the foundation of the captive whale and dolphin industry, a crack that continues to grow bigger today. His story is a powerful reminder of our connection to the animal kingdom. It shows what can happen when people come together. Millions of people from all corners of the globe, united by a movie, came together to give one whale a better life. They didn't do it for money or for fame. They did it out of pure kindness and a sense of responsibility. Keiko's rescue was one of the biggest animal welfare projects in history, powered by the public's love for an animal they'd only seen on a screen. It proved empathy as a powerful force for good. In the end, Keiko's legacy is a beautiful ripple of hope. What a legend. What a beautiful, beautiful legacy.